Hi everyone, this is Sergey Gusev. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to paint a portrait alla prima in oils on canvas. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to make a quick sketch using just oils, a bit of medium and a bristle brush. The size of the canvas is just 12 times 12 inches, 30 times 30 centimeters, quite small, but I think it's quite okay for a quick study, which we are going to paint during one sitting. There is no sense to paint a huge size. I'm going to paint quite thick impasto, but anyway, in the very beginning, I'm working with very thin layers. I care first of all for the composition and proportions, making quite a quick sketch and then start applying colors from the palette, but not thick. The first layers I'm making quite thin, and only when I'm sure that all the proportions look quite okay and I'm not gonna correct the composition, I'm applying thicker layers. Usually I suggest to use brighter colors in the very beginning, and you can see that some of them are just from the tubes, pure oil paints from the tubes. I'm using some burnt sienna, scarlet lake, a bit of yellow lake. You can use also lemon yellow. And then I start using some white, though not a lot, very carefully. I'm trying to paint and model the head at the same time, and I care for the big planes. I'm painting and constructing the head. Quite often I'm asked how to paint impasto, and here is my basic tip. First of all, do not use a lot of medium. I'm not using any medium. I used a tiny bit of it in the very beginning when sketching out. After that, I'm painting only with the colors directly from the tubes, no medium at all. And second of all, try to paint with big planes. Don't care for the small details in the very beginning. Paint with big masses of light and shadow, and paint with colors. Again, you can paint brighter than you see. Just pure colors in the very beginning, and then we can always correct them. Also, do not smudge the brush strokes. Paint rougher, do it on purpose, and don't be scared of that. Also, in my opinion, it's quite important to tell yourself, even before you start working, that it's going to be alla prima within 2-3 hours, and that's it. You are not going to work more, longer, or the next day. Just paint it as it goes and postpone. Don't correct, don't change. Make it quite rough, quite unfinished on purpose. Even don't care a lot for the likeness, even for the proportions. When you decide to learn how to paint thick, it's going to be your primary goal. Proportions, likeness, secondary. Don't worry, don't care. It's an exercise. You should do, in my opinion, quite a lot of alla primas. So when you paint, just tell yourself, this is one of them. I will paint 10, 20, 50, hundreds of them, so I do not care for the result. I'm going to enjoy the process and make it quite unfinished, very colorful, very painterly. So find any excuse, but do not try to finish it. Don't concentrate on the details. Do something you have never done before. I think this is my basic tip. So right now, when I'm painting, I'm actually trying to enjoy the process because I like to paint like this. I like to paint more colorful than I see it in live or on a source picture. I like to paint thick. I like to paint with big planes. I do not like to paint the details, and it works out quite well for me. So when you decide to paint alla prima, tell yourself before you start working that the result is not important at all. What's really important is your emotions, your feelings, Just enjoy the process. This is the basic and the most simple tip I can give you. I also don't like painting with soft brushes, I mean synthetics. Usually I work with a white bristle brush. And maybe when I get close to the end, when I have to correct some small things like the size of the irises, for example, then I pick up a small flat soft synthetic, but that's it. I'm not gonna soften the brush strokes, work on the transitions between the brush strokes. I correct a few details, then I forget again about that synthetic, pick up my bristle brush and continue working on the big planes, on the colors, on the masses. Actually, it's not important how you call it. I also recommend you to work like this quite often. So not once in a while, but let's say you do it like 2-3 times every week. Maybe don't use expensive linen. You can paint on MDF or maybe even on paper as I suggested in one of my previous tutorials. But yes, it's quite important to do a lot of exercises like this. You'll feel colors, you'll figure out what means light and cool, warm and dark and so on. So it's really a great exercise, and I think that my best advice is just to simply paint as much as you can exercises like this. I do some small corrections here and there when getting close to the end. Mostly I correct the silhouette because I need to correct the proportions, and the best way is to use the color for the hair, for the background, to move paints on the canvas and work on the silhouette. And that's it. I also work a little bit on the hands without any details. Also, we need to find the right silhouette, and that's it. Okay guys, I think here I'm gonna stop. Subscribe. There are a lot of new tutorials coming out really soon, and new Alla Primas. I will show you how to paint real impasto. It's going to be interesting. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and of course don't forget that you can find the full video tutorials on my webpage. Check out the links in the description. I wish you good luck with your own artworks and see you quite soon in my next episode on this channel.